What's up, guys? It's Justin, aka the Hard Gainer Trainer, and I've put together a video for you guys on how to string together nutrition, training, PEDs, and mindset to start looking like a bodybuilder as fast as fucking possible. So it's probably the most informative content I've ever made. I put it all together into one video so you don't have to go to a bunch of different videos. It's going to be a long one, but it's worth it, I promise you. So grab your coffee, grab your fucking diet soda, whatever you need. Lock in, let's get to it. All right, let's get into it, guys. This is the Hard Gainer method. How to start looking like a bodybuilder in 180 days or less without spending your whole life in the gym. So let's get into it. So this is my personal transformation journey. This is a small section of it. This is the most important section, I think. So this is December 2024 right here on the left. I'm looking pudgy, fully bulked up, but not in a good way. Like, you can just see the inflammation in my face, my gut, just everywhere. I mean, like, my gut sticks out like as far as my chest does in that. You'll see over here on the right, May 2025, looking pretty shredded, more muscle mass. Despite being significantly leaner, I look bigger. This is right after my first bodybuilding show back in April. And I implemented all the stuff that I'm about to tell you to get from that point to that point. So like the light bulb moment for me was like after my bodybuilding show, I discovered something pretty amazing. Like I thought I had been, training like a bodybuilder, eating like a bodybuilder, recovering like a bodybuilder, but I wasn't. I simply wasn't until that prep. So after my show, I discovered like my food sensitivity was through the fucking roof, and I have always had a problem putting on muscle. As you can see by that first photo where I'm all bulked up, I had to use a lot of like fast food and junk food and shit to even like tip the scale slightly. And then all of a sudden, after my show, I'm putting on like good tissue effortlessly. Like normally, I'm in the 6,000 to 7,000 calorie range to put on weight. And I was putting on weight at, I don't know, maybe 3,000 calories on a high day. It's pretty insane. And I gained more muscle in like a month than I had in the entire previous year. I was like, where has this progress been? This is what I've been needing. And I maintained a lean look while taking fewer steroids than I was during prep, during that bulk. I was probably on half the doses that I was. And even after I stopped my rebound cycle and went into a health phase of like just 300 milligrams of testosterone, I kept putting on muscle from that food sensitivity. So, who is this program for? This is for unremarkable guys, your average Joes in the gym who are like, they've always wanted to look like a bodybuilder, but they don't know where to start. They want to get lean muscle tissue as quick as possible. This is for men seeking the structure that comes with a bodybuilding lifestyle. I know originally that's what got me into it. Took me out of some pretty dark places, just having day-to-day goals to accomplish every single day. It changed my life. Gym goers who spend countless hours working out with minimal progress. How many guys do you know, or maybe this might be you yourself, that have been going to the gym for years, but look the same every time you see them? It doesn't matter how long they've been going. They just look the same. It's the most frustrating feeling in the world. It's also for guys who are tired of wasting their health and money on steroid cycles with poor results. This was me for a while. Like, I'd blast grams and make minimal progress. And I know from talking to people in my DMs, talking to people on Instagram, talking to people in real life, this is pretty common. Like, there are so many people that come to me and they tell me, oh, I need to fix my cycle. Oh, this is what I'm running. And I'm like, you're on steroids? Like, I could not tell. I mean, I guarantee you half the guys at your gym are on steroids and you don't even know it because they just look like dog shit. They don't know what they're doing. But we're here to fix that. This is also for guys who like aren't quite skinny, aren't quite fat, kind of fall into that skinny fat category, and they don't know whether to bulk or cut. They're stuck in the skinny fat trap. It's super common. People think of like fat Americans as, the mobility scooter Walmart people. No, most overweight people that I know are skinny fat. Skinny arms, skinny legs, and they just got a big old beer gut. Once again, we're going to fix that. This program is not for quick fix seekers. You can make some pretty crazy progress in a lot shorter time than you think you can. And I'm about to teach you how to do that. But this isn't going to take 2 weeks. There's no abs in 2 weeks. It's not a fucking thing. I know V-Shred on YouTube told you it was. It's not. It's not a thing. There's no fucking steroid cycle that can look like a bodybuilder in 2 weeks. That's not a thing. So get that out of your head. This isn't for competitive bodybuilders. Because they probably already know all this stuff. And B, this is for guys, just normal guys who just want to be jacked for the fuck of it. This isn't for competition bodybuilders. This is guys who don't want to do preps. They don't want to pay thousands of dollars to fucking step on stage every year. This is just for guys who want to be jacked for the hell of it. So competitive bodybuilders, get out of here. I'm kidding. I'm a competitive bodybuilder. You can still watch, but this isn't for you. The uncommitted. This stuff is going to take some serious changes to your lifestyle, like every part of it. You're not going to have to like give up everything you love, but it is a large adjustment. So if you're not committed to that, get the hell out of here. Half-hearted. This is not for people who want to fucking stroll through the gym and do light sets on 20 different machines and call it a day. No, this is for people who are committed to working their ass off in the gym. And we'll get into that more later. But like, it's going to be very, very, very intense training sessions required to make this kind of transformation. Proper nutrition as well. Like, if you think you're going to get away with eating protein Pop-Tarts, it's not a fucking thing. Get out of here. Truth about getting muscular. You can get absolutely fucking jacked and shredded without spending 2 hours a day on the treadmill. You don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to ruin your blood work with gear. You can actually run cycles and have decent looking blood work. And you don't have to eat boiled chicken and rice for every meal. People seem to think more suffering means more results, but that's just simply not true. You do not have to eat bland, unseasoned chicken. You do not have to do 2 hours of cardio every day. I'd actually highly advise against that if you want to get huge. It's probably just going to set you back. It is my belief that with the right diet, training, and steroid protocol, anyone can not become an IFBB pro, but can get to pro size with the right amount of consistency and, just time, diet, nutrition. I said diet and nutrition twice. I meant training and nutrition. Not everyone can be a pro. Not everyone can have pro-level muscle insertions and symmetry, but I think anyone can get to pro-level size if they're dedicated. Most guys just look the same year after year because they don't know how to eat. They're probably like how I used to be, where I'm like, I need to eat 6,000 calories, so I'm going to try and shove that down in 3 meals and hate my life every day. Or they just starve themselves and feel like shit all the time. Most guys don't know how to use PEDs effectively to enhance their training and diet. Either they're taking too little because more plates, more dates told them that 250 mgs a test is a cycle. It's not. That's a fucking cruise. That's what I'm on right now to like improve my blood work. So you either have that camp of people or people who think that the gear does all the work. So they're like, I'm just going to blast grams and still train like a bitch and still eat like a 5-year-old. And then you can't even tell they're on steroids when you look at them because they're only doing a third of what's required. They're doing the easy part. Sticking a needle in your ass is fucking easy. Like, if anyone who tells you taking steroids is hard is lying to you. It's the easiest part of bodybuilding. All right. Most guys don't know how to train with purpose and intensity. Look at your average gym. Look at your own training, if this applies to you. How many people do you see rolling out of a leg press because the set was just so brutal? It just took everything out of them. Not many. Most people are on their phones in the middle of their sets. If you can text while lifting, if you can send a coherent text like even like 60 seconds after your set, you're not fucking training hard enough. And most people don't know how to like accumulate a strength base over time and use that towards their progression. What do I mean by that? No one wants to get strong on barbell lifts anymore. They want to fucking do all machines, all these hyper-stabilized exercises because Jeff Nipper told me it works. It's not what gets you big. How do I know that? Look at the people who do that. Jeff Nippard looks all right, but everyone else who does it. All right, guys. There are no quick fixes, so let's establish that right from the get-go. If you're looking to completely transform your physique in 2 weeks, it's not going to happen. You can definitely make noticeable changes, but you're not going to go from a skinny fat guy who's never touched a weight in his life to Chris Bumstead in 2 weeks. It doesn't happen. I know you guys have seen those ads. Oh, how to eat donuts with every meal and get abs in 2 weeks. Just watch this whole 1.5-minute video, and then at the end, you can subscribe to my newsletter, and you don't even find out anything. Yeah, no, that shit doesn't work. It's impossible. There's no steroid cycle that can do it. There's nothing. But you can achieve results a lot faster than you think you can, so stay tuned. So, overview of the hard gainer method. There is 4 main pillars of it. Nutrition, training, proper PED protocols, and mindset. So, give you a brief overview of all of them. Nutrition, we're going to get you eating like a bodybuilder. You want to look like a bodybuilder, you need to eat like one. You can't eat like a normal person. Bodybuilders aren't normal people. Training, once again, you got to train like a fucking bodybuilder. If you want to look like a bodybuilder, we're not doing strongman shit. We're not doing CrossFit. We're training like a bodybuilder. No one knows how to change their body more rapidly than bodybuilders. Have you seen the difference between an off season and a prep? And they do that shit every year? Yeah. Can't top that. Proper PED protocols. We're going to learn how to use PEDs to make cycles that work for us, not against us, with the least health risks possible. Steroids are never safe. However, there's safer ways to do them. People who pretend like all steroid use is the same and equally as dangerous are fucking idiots. Think about it this way. There can be 2 people who smoke cigarettes. One person smokes 1 cigarette a week, and the other guy smokes 2 packs a day. Are you going to pretend like they're doing the same level of damage to themselves? No, they're not. It's the same thing with steroids. There's use and abuse. And then mindset. This shit's hard. Like, let's be real. Changing your physique drastically is a hard process. So through that process, you are going to build your mindset to be able to keep up with the demands of it. Because no one's born hardcore. Let's be real. We're not David Goggins. I'm sure as shit not David Goggins. But through bodybuilding, I've picked up a lot of character traits that make it easier to stick to bodybuilding. And just like shit that bothers most people it's nothing to me anymore. And that's my goal for you guys. So let's move on. Before we really dive into it, let's get into my background. This goober over here on the right, believe it or not, that is me about 5 years ago now. As you can see, I was not born jacked. I honestly, even now, I still have a long way to go. But I've made some pretty significant progress. Started my journey at 140 pounds at 6'1". I am 240 now. That's about 25 pounds of muscle mass a year over 4 years. So I got creds. I may not be the genetic elite, but I got creds. Yeah, so I wasn't really born with good genetics, as you can see. My whole life, I was either skinny, stick skinny, or skinny fat. And that just kind of depended on whether I was primarily drinking or primarily doing drugs. If I was drinking, I'd be skinny fat. If I was doing more drugs, I'd just be stick skinny. I looked pretty fucking gross. I thought I was cool as shit. Looking back, I was a fucking idiot. Yeah, it caused a lot of fucking issues for me in my life, like the way I looked. And I honestly didn't even realize it until I started looking more like I do now. And all my like mental problems started to like disappear. So I'm like, oh shit, we found the root cause. And I'm sure that's the same for a lot of you guys. Like, you know, it's funny because people talk about roid rage. This kid right here was so angry all the fucking time. I got in so many fights. I'd just like lash out at everything because I was just so lost. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And like, dude, since I've gotten on fucking steroids and gotten big, I haven't been in a single fight. I don't go looking for fights. I just do my thing because like, I'm secure with my life now. I have purpose every day. Every 3 hours on the dot, I have another fucking obstacle to crush, and that's getting down the next meal, you know? But I was like this for a while, like most of my teenage years, even I think it's about 19 in this picture, and that's kind of when I started figuring things out a little. Well, actually, things started going really downhill, and it made me start questioning my decisions. But eventually, I ended up having a seizure at work from Xanax withdrawals in September of 2020. And like waking up in an ambulance, or actually I woke up on the floor of the store and then went to an ambulance. I went to the hospital. And just like that moment, I was just like, fuck, I could have just died there. Like if I had been home alone, there was no one to find me, I probably would have been dead. FYI, Xanax and alcohol withdrawals are the only withdrawals that can just straight up kill you. So yeah, I could have fucking died. And that kind of got me looking into just health in general. I got super paranoid about my health all of a sudden. I was like, fuck, I need to fix this, fix that. And it started to like point me in the direction of the gym. Like little by little, I started getting into the gym. I started tracking calories. I bought the good old Greg Doucette cookbook, which I would never eat a single thing from nowadays, but hey, it was somewhere to start. You know, I was prioritizing my protein. I was spending 6 or 7 days in the gym. Like, I did not want to take rest days. And this lifestyle helped me, like, start to overcome addiction, make good improvements to my physique, deal with a lot of the self-image issues I had. It really fucking changed my life. I know that sounds so fucking corny, because everyone says that. But, like, when you see where I was and you see where I am now, it really did change my fucking life, man. For the better. So, the struggle continues. After about a year in the gym, I kind of started to, like, burn out. I was obsessed with it. Like, I refused to eat a single calorie I couldn't track. Which obviously led to some friction with my fiance. Like, we never went out to eat. I was like, I have a hard time gaining weight, so I was just force feeding. Like, there was a period of time where I was eating like, I had one lunch break at work. So in that lunch break, I would eat like 4 baked potatoes and 2 pounds of ground beef in one sitting. I felt like shit. And, you know, my progress started to slow down. I wasn't making the gains I was when I first started, and it kind of sucked. It started to get to me because, like, I was very goal driven and I wasn't meeting my own goals for myself, and it sucked. So I did what, you know, every immature, impatient 20-year-old does. And some of you guys aren't crazy, so what I did, I turned to fucking steroids, and I hired a coach, more of like a lifestyle coach. He helped me more with the gear and the training. Nutrition was a little lacking, but yeah, so I got on steroids and I hired a coach. And like most people, I thought, you know, 250 milligrams of test is going to turn me into Ronnie Coleman because, you know, I ate the same fucking lies that you guys ate. And started experimenting with like higher doses, and I got better and better results. But there was just like, there was something missing. And I was just so impatient, I guess. And I just kept like, I'd start at fucking dirty ass bulk, and I'd do that for, 12 weeks, which is not enough time to put on like a substantial amount of muscle mass. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm too fat. Because no shit, I'm too fat. I was pounding McDonald's along with my ground beef and rice. Like, I still ate bodybuilder food, but I'd add a lot on top of it. So I do these drastic fucking cuts, man. I'm like, all of a sudden, like, no carbs. And it just led to me always feeling like too bloated, too skinny. Like, I never really looked how I wanted to look. I still looked better than most people, but I wasn't up to my own standard, I guess. And then everything kind of changed when I did my first prep. Like, it forced me to, like, learn how to be a real bodybuilder. Like, and it was me forcing myself. No one made me do a show. I wanted to. I dropped to about 30 pounds of body fat in 4 months. So for all you guys that think you're going to drop 20 pounds and you're going to go from 20% body fat to 10, that's not going to happen. I went from like, 13, 14% to like 8% stage lean when I hopped on stage. And that was my own mistakes. Some fuck ups during my prep. But I dropped a significant amount of body fat. I learned how to like follow a real meal plan. I trained hard as fuck because I wanted to grow into my show. Like, I was on a decent cycle, so I knew I had the ability to grow even on low calories. So I did. And I started doing consistent cardio for the first time in my life, which was a fucking game changer for my blood work, just how I felt. I could perform better in the gym because my lungs weren't failing before my my muscles. And, like, the results were insane. I looked better than I'd ever looked before. I was getting, like, compliments from strangers. And, like, dudes at the gym would be like, oh, shit, you compete? I'm like, yeah, how could you tell? It felt good, Oh, shit. My nicotine. Sorry, I almost skipped ahead there. And then, right after my show, I started getting a little more food. I hired a new coach who was, like, really hardcore with the meal plans and the training. And I started getting a little more food and a little more food. And I was like, holy shit, I'm putting on, like, 3 pounds of tissue a week. This is insane. Because I was so used to having to force feed to move the scale at all. So that, like, that insulin sensitivity from being that lean made all the difference in the world when it came to putting on size. All right, let's get into nutrition. All right, the basics of nutrition on the hard gainer method. We're not doing anything fucking crazy. It's not keto. It's not carnivore. It's not steak and eggs off a wooden cutting board. No bullshit. We're doing it like bodybuilders do it, which is eating 5 to 6 times a day. Yeah, 5 to 6 meals daily, quality whole food sources, carbs, protein, and fats. It's going to be like chicken and rice, beef and potatoes, eggs and oatmeal. Obviously well seasoned and tasting good and using all the low-calorie sauces at our disposal. But eating 5 to 6 times a day is going to do wonders for your digestion. If you're trying to grow on 3 meals a day, like, those meals are going to be fucking horrible to eat. Versus I'm 3 months post-show, and I'm still hungry as fuck for every meal. Even though I'm eating, like, I don't know, I think 4,500 calories a day right now. It's only going up from here, but, like, I am hungry for every meal because of the spacing. The meal plan is based on macros, protein, carbs, and fats, rather than just counting calories. Counting calories is fucking bullshit. We all know 2,000 calories of McDonald's and 2,000 calories of chicken and rice do not affect your body the same way. I had so many coworkers doing like the if it fits your macros, counting calories bullshit. And, they'd like starve themselves all day so they could go have a fucking cheat meal later. And I'm like, what was the point of that? You could have eaten so much food throughout the day. And that's why they're still fat. Let's be real. Speaking of cheat meals, we don't need to give those up. We're not stepping on stage. We don't need to be in that kind of conditioning. 1 to 2 free meals not cheat meals, free meals. Improve your relationship with food. It's not cheating when it's part of your plan. 1 to 2 free meals a week just to keep sanity, dopamine hit, so you enjoy your plan. Come on, next slide. All right, the nutrition phase for this is actually broken up into, let me start over. The nutrition aspect is broken up into 2 phases. Jesus Christ. So the first phase is the food sensitizing phase. So it's about 12 to 16 weeks, depending on how high your body fat is when you start. We want to start you off at maintenance. So if you're watching this, you don't know anything about meal plans, anything, and you're just an average guy, great place to start. 2,500 calories a day, 5 meals with 50 grams of protein each. Start there. If you gain weight, it's above your maintenance. If you lose weight, it's below your maintenance. So we want to find your maintenance. So like where you are, where your weight's not changing week to week. And then from there, we want to start shedding body fat. So we have a good foundation to build on. We gradually lower carbs and fats over the course of those 12 to 16 weeks. So for naturals watching, you're going to want to lower more of the carbs than the fats. You guys produce your own hormones, so you need fats to make hormones. So you don't want to be the fucking natural whose dick stops working, 12 weeks into a cut because you cut your fats too low. You're going to want to cut more carbs. For enhanced guys, we can take from each. And we're not going to lower protein at all. Protein needs to stay sky fucking high. Because if you are a decently untrained guy, you will put on muscle in this phase if you're eating enough protein. And even if you have a decent physique already, you can still grow in a deficit, 100%. The primary goals of this phase are to just strip fat off you until you reach about, 4 weeks out conditioning, like what you'd look like 4 weeks out from a show. The picture I put there is a decent example of that. I could have been a little leaner, but you get the idea. You want to have like defined abs, muscle separation. You should be pretty vascular. If that is what, sub 10 body fat looks like right there. So if you don't look like that and you think you're sub 10 body fat, you're not. That's not me trying to be a dick. You just need to be realistic with yourself. And the primary goal of this is to have a good base to bulk off of so we don't get you fat during a bulk, and to maximize your like food and insulin sensitivity so that when it's time to build muscle, you don't need to be force feeding. For guys who are just naturally skinny, like that's their starting point. And I'm not talking skinny fat. I'm talking like you are stick skinny but have an 8-pack year round. You might not even need this phase. And if you do, it might be about 4 weeks. So it's actually a decent starting point to be at if you want to get huge. But if you don't look anything like that picture, you have no business going straight into a bulk. Okay, so the second phase is the muscle gaining phase. Should be at least 16 weeks minimum. I know you guys are used to these fucking 3-month, 2-month bulks. No, it's not a thing. You're just putting on water and fat if you're putting on 20 pounds in that. Muscle still takes time to build whether you're on gear or off gear. Even on gear, you're probably only getting 2.5 pounds a month tops if you're doing everything perfect and you're like still pretty new to this. So we're going to use that newfound food sensitivity from the cutting phase to build muscle while staying lean. We're going to use strategic carb manipulation for targeted insulin spikes. So intra-workout drinks around your workout, high carb meals pre and post workout, and then less carbs throughout the day so that you're still staying lean. I skipped ahead, intra-workout. Yeah, so that's going to be like some sort of carb powder like dextrose, highly branched cyclic dextrin, something to spike your insulin while you're working out and give you more fuel for your workout and just shuttle nutrients straight into your muscles as they're super sensitive from working out. And we're going to use just small incremental increases in food intake. Like I'm talking 150, 200 calorie jumps tops. We're not adding 500 calories a week. You're just going to get fat. Don't believe me? Okay, that's your problem. Well, have fun doing the same thing you've been doing for years. But these small incremental increases, it's going to keep your digestion good. You're going to use all the food that you're being given, all that extra food. It's turning into muscle. You're not putting on a ton of fat. You're going to feel fucking great in the gym during this phase. Let's be real, in a cut, working out isn't the most fun, but you're going to have great recovery once you start adding food with that food sensitivity. You're going to see noticeable increases in your physique, and your muscle mass, week to week. Your recovery is going to be really good. Your strength is going to be through the roof. This is the fun part, but you got to earn the fun part. All right, let's dive into training. All right, let's get this out of the way. If you want to start looking like a bodybuilder, you got to train like a bodybuilder. Most people at the gym make no fucking progress because they have no intensity and no structure. And you got all these fucking science-based lifters out here saying, no, this is the way you need to do it. This is the way you need to do it. No, you have to do a one-arm fucking bench-supported cable preacher row. They just fucking throw words out there. But none of them are big, so don't listen to them. I'm not the biggest guy ever, but hey, I have results. So you might want to tune in. The hard gainer method really focuses on exercise selection, exercise sequencing, exercise intensity, and recovery. So by that, actually, we'll get into it. Proper exercise selection. There's a couple different types of exercises you're going to need to do to get big. Compound movements being the biggest one. Things like your squat, deadlift, bench, barbell rows, overhead press. The stuff everyone likes to skip because it's hard. However, I promise you, building a base of strength on these exercises will just give you that dense muscle that nothing else can. Then you want to follow that up with some targeted isolation work. This should not be the majority of your lift. However, this is to come in at the end and really just hammer those smaller muscle groups. That's a lot of people also have trouble developing, like arms and shoulders. Then you're just going to pump the shit out of them, get them full of blood and nutrients. And then guess what? It's an efficient workout, 5 to 6 exercises per session. So you can get the hell out of there and go eat and recover, which is what you need to do to look like a bodybuilder. Notice how I keep repeating this? It's because it's important. Exercise sequencing. This is an area where I see a lot of people fuck up. They'll just walk in the gym and just start doing shit willy-nilly, no fucking order to it. So you're going to want to start with the heavy free weights, the barbell squats, the barbell rows, the deadlifts, all that stuff while you're still fresh. Obviously, get a couple warm-up sets in so you don't hurt yourself. But these are the exercises where I think you have the most potential for growth. You can load the most weight on them. Work the most muscles at once. So this is what we should be doing when we're fresh at full strength. And then going to move into the accessory work, like moderately heavy machine work. So say you just did a bench press, then you go into an incline hammer strength plate loaded press. Your stabilizer muscles are already fucking fried from bench pressing, but your chest still has some fucking go in it. So we're going to fucking hit that shit till it doesn't work anymore. So for every muscle group, there's going to be some sort of, heavy machine accessory to follow it up. And then we're going to finish up with, as I was talking about, the lighter isolation work. You don't need a lot of stabilization for this. And even after doing heavy sets, you can still pump out some more on the light isolation exercises. So for leg day, for example, so we started with barbell squats. Then we went into machine leg press and hack squats for our accessory movements. Your quads are pretty smoked at that point. You're not going to be moving out any heavy weight, but then we can go into something like leg extension to really just fucking finish them off, get them pumped to shit. And we're going to do the larger muscle groups before the smaller ones for the same reason I said. Just use the use the big movers while they're fresh, you know? All right, sorry, let me fucking scratch this itch, and then we will keep going. Training intensity, the thing I see most lacking in gyms these days. If you use the terms RPE, rate of perceived exertion, or RIR, reps and reserves, yeah, stop doing that. Either get off my video or get that out of your head. These measures are super subjective. It's rate of perceived exertion. How hard do you think you're going? How do you know how hard you're going? You don't. You really don't. You might think you do, but you don't. How do you know how many reps you left in the tank? You don't, because you didn't empty the tank. It could be one more. You could have gotten maybe one more than last week, but you went off of last week's reps. And you're like, oh, I had 2 left in the tank last week, so I have 2 left in the tank this week. You know, it's all fucking made up. There's no way to measure it. You know how we can measure how hard we're going? Take every set to true muscular failure. Not, I don't think I can get another rep, with the exception of bench, squat, deadlift, where, you know, we could possibly injure ourselves if we, you know, go to true failure. Everything else, you should be going till you literally can't get another rep. And then guess what? We're going to take it beyond that with some intensity techniques like lengthen partials. You know, you can't do another full rep on leg extension. Keep doing half reps until you can't do half reps anymore. Your muscles still have something left in it. Forced reps are a great one if you have a training partner. Like, okay, you cannot complete a full rep by yourself anymore. Okay, keep going with a little assistance from your training partner. You are still working that muscle. Some other ones like rest pause sets, which is basically you take a weight to failure, rest 15 seconds, take it to failure again, rest 15 seconds, take it to failure again. Do that on a fucking leg press, and you will not be able to catch your breath for the next 5 minutes. I guarantee you, you will be smoked. Drop sets are another good one, where you go to failure, drop the weight, go to failure, drop the weight. I mean, you can do it endlessly. I usually do about triple drop sets. And, partial reps. Skipped ahead again, my bad. Yeah, I can't stress how much just focusing on, like, the intensity of my lifts rather than just, like, hitting a certain number of reps or just moving the weights. Like, it transformed my physique. I mean, look at that picture right there. Granted, it's with a good camera, but, like, my fucking delts look dense as fuck. They didn't used to look like that. You can see my back from the side. Didn't used to look like that until I started training like this. And then finally, recovery. Arguably one of the most important parts of training. On using the hard gainer method, you're not going to be going to the gym 6 to 7 days a week like I used to. That leads to burnout. If you can go, I opt for 4 days a week. 5 is doable. But if you can train more than 5 days a week without experiencing significant, just like fatigue symptoms, you're not going hard enough during your workouts. And the reason I only go for 4 to 5 days a week is because, as we know, muscle is built during recovery, not in the gym. We want to get in there, give the muscle a reason to grow, and then we got to get out and give it time to grow. I'm not a science-based lifter, but I'm all for training smart. Sleep. This one, you know, can be hard for some people. I was a corrections officer for 3 years. It definitely fucked with my sleep. Like, I averaged maybe 6 hours on a work night. But, you know, I made up for it on my days off. I got 8 to 9 hours, took naps. But we want to be aiming for, you know, 8 hours of quality sleep every night on a consistent schedule. Not going to sleep on accident. We want to go to sleep with a purpose. Same time every night. Because this, like, if you can go to sleep and wake up at the same time every night, this is going to fucking do wonders for your nutrition. Because if you say you get up at 6 every day and go to bed at 10 every day, you're going to have plenty of time to get your meals in, versus if you sleep until 10 one day, you're like 2 meals behind at that point. You got to shove them in, fuck up your digestion, and that's how we don't grow. And taking this approach to recovery leaves time for your personal relationships, relaxation. You know, you're not abandoning your significant other to be in the gym 7 days a fucking week for 3 hours. No, we're going 4 to 5 days a week for an hour, maybe a little longer on leg day. I tend to need more rest on leg day. But yeah, you know, it keeps a good balance in your life, and that's what's going to make you stick to it. All right, the part everyone was waiting for. I know this is what you guys all really wanted to see. Performance-enhancing drugs and their strategic implementation. Let me preface this with naturals can still make great progress, doing everything I've talked about without the PEDs. It doesn't make the other stuff irrelevant. This stuff is relevant whether you are on PEDs or not. As you can see by the amount of people on PEDs that look natural as fuck. However, my camera's blocking where I need to see. Let me move that. There we go. So yeah, my approach to PEDs and the approach that I implemented in the hard gainer method, we want to maximize the results while maintaining clean blood work, focus on sustainable long-term cycles, and prioritize health alongside performance. Let me just get some big issues out of the way that I see with steroid users. As I said before, they're either not taking enough or taking way too much, and they don't take it for long enough. You are not going to build a considerable amount of muscle on an 8-week cycle, which for some reason people think 8 to 12 is the standard. No, you want to do a good blast where you put on a crazy amount of muscle mass. We're talking like 6-month cycles, 5 to 6 months. How do we do that? We're going to get into that. The reason most people are only able to run 8 to 12 week cycles is because every cycle they're blasting tren and orals and all this super toxic shit alongside eating like shit and not doing cardio, and their blood work goes to shit and they have to get off. And that's why they fucking don't put on any actual muscle. They take their anadrol, go up 10 pounds for, 4 weeks, get off because their blood work's fucked, and they didn't put on any muscle. They just had a bunch of extra water and glycogen. And that's what we want to avoid. Because I was in that boat for a while. I'm not a fucking saint. I made my mistakes when it comes to PEDs, but I'm trying to help you guys avoid the same mistakes. So, foundation of every good cycle is going to be testosterone. It replaces your natural hormone production, both testosterone and estrogen, because we need both to function. And it just adds dense fucking muscle tissue. It's one of the only dose-dependent steroids. Like, the more you take, the better the effects are. There's really not a lot of diminishing returns. However, we've got to find the sweet spot. And the ideal dose, the sweet spot, is going to be the highest amount of testosterone you can take without experiencing estrogen side effects. For most people, I'd say there's around 500 to 1,000 milligrams per week. It can vary, but we should avoid taking AIs. They are, for those who don't know, estrogen blockers. Those are just as bad on your blood work as steroids are. They fuck your cholesterol up. I found they make me more prone to injury. Like, they just do something to my fucking joints and tendons that I don't like. But yeah, so we want to try to avoid the use of AIs. So a moderate dose of testosterone. And just like the nutrition of my method has phases, the steroid cycles do as well. During this fat loss phase, testosterone alone is going to be sufficient enough for most people, because the goal isn't to put on a ton of size in this phase. The goal is to get lean while holding on to the muscle mass you have and possibly building some new muscle mass. So testosterone alone will be enough to cover that, and that way we can keep our blood work good during this whole phase. And if your protein intake is as high as I'm telling you to have it, you will put on new muscle. And that way we're saving our blood work for the next phase where things get fun. So once it's time to start, putting on some serious size, we want to choose a secondary injectable. We're going to use the ones that work synergistically with test and can be tolerated long term. None of these are going to destroy your blood work. It might look a little worse, like your cholesterol, but none of these compounds will destroy your blood work. And these are going to be Primobolan, Masteron, Deca, or NPP, the fast-acting version, and Equipoise. These all have very unique effects to them. Equipoise and Masteron and Primo are great for keeping your estrogen low, so you can run your testosterone a little higher. Actually, it doesn't lower your estrogen, binds to the receptor and competes with the estrogen, so you don't experience estrogen side effects. Had to go science-based on you there. Yeah, we're going to choose one of those, and it depends on the compound. Like Primo, I run like at a 1-to-1 with my test. Equipoise is more like a 1 to 0.5 because I crash my estrogen pretty easily with Equipoise. Deca, and yeah, it's going to be it's going to be dependent person to person how you react to compounds. So if you don't know how you react to compounds, it might be trial and error. If you do know, then hey, I don't need to tell you what to do. You know what to do. And then the rocket fuel compounds, the stuff like Tren and orals. As much as I hate on them, they do have their use. Their use is not to be your primary muscle builder and run for, 20-something weeks, because they're super harsh on your blood work and your body. And honestly, after a certain point, you just want to get off them because you don't feel good. However, these can be used very strategically for certain goals. Like orals and Tren increase your strength like crazy. They give you really freaky cosmetic effects. So this could be used for, say you're at a strength plateau during your mass gaining phase. Okay, throw in some Anadrol for 2 to 4 weeks to break through that. Oh, we need to look really good for a photo shoot or something. You just want to look your best. Vacation, whatever. That's where we throw in, some Winstrol, some Anavar, maybe a little Trenbolone. Even in the fat loss phase, like Trenbolone does have a pretty potent nutrient partitioning and fat burning effect, where it could be thrown in like more towards the end to really just get that last bit of fat off. And then something that I personally love, it is quite expensive, so I don't consider it mandatory in this method. I've made plenty of gains without growth hormone. But growth hormone just increases the potency of everything else you're running. On its own, it doesn't really do much. But anyone who's taken it will tell you it's just like, it just amps up your cycle. And it enhances your fat burning, or if you're bulking, it helps keep the fat off. Your recovery is great. Your sleep is great. It just basically what it does, without going super in depth, is directs your body's metabolic functions primarily towards building muscle. So it's an extremely effective compound and pretty fucking safe. But yeah, the reason I take the sustainable approach to PEDs is because although this video is to help you start looking like a bodybuilder in 180 days or less, to get to the point where you have like an elite level bodybuilding physique, whether competition or lifestyle. And I'm strictly talking about lifestyle, because that's what you guys are doing. It still takes, 5 years to a decade to look like absolutely insane. You can look great in 180 days to a year, 100%. You can look fucking phenomenal. But to have like an elite level physique, it's going to take a long time. So we can't be destroying our health every single time we hop on cycle. And this model will allow you to stay on cycle for long periods of time. So that's more time you are able to build significant amounts of muscle. And it keeps your blood work good. Because when you have good blood work, you can grow. If your blood work is fucked up, no amount of steroids are going to help you. Because your body isn't going to want to grow when your kidneys and your liver are fucking shot. The liver is super responsible for fat burning. If your liver is fucking stressed, you're going to hold on to more fat. If your kidneys are fucking stressed, you're going to hold on to more water. You're not going to be able to dry out no matter how much fucking Winstrol you take. No amount of steroids is going to replace the diet and training, but it will augment it if used correctly. So the benefits of this are just being able to run long cycles without health deterioration, consistent progress. Like, you're not only going to be on cycle for 3 to 6 months out of the year, so you have more chances to make consistent progress. Avoids the mistake of blasting and crashing, which is where guys will like blow up on cycle and then they go on their health phase and they're down 20 pounds and all of a sudden look like shit because they didn't actually do anything to build muscle. They just thought the cosmetic effects of the steroids were muscle. I'm a great example of this. When I just got on my health phase, I still gained another, like, I want to say 15 pounds of muscle on 300 milligrams of test, which is nothing because my diet and training were on fucking point. And just going to help you maintain gains long term, you know? You're going to get more time in the game. And then lastly, mindset. Let me move my camera again. Come on. It does not like me right now. Okay. Well, guess we're going to be here then. Building a bulletproof mindset. This is so fucking important for bodybuilding. Because if you are mentally weak, you are not going to do what it takes. And on the hard gainer method, we build mental fortitude through taking action. So here's some common mindsets I see just from, people I see at the gym, people in my DMs, just people who are having problems, like building a physique. Quick fix mentality, they think they're going to get results overnight. It's not how it works. You can't stick to something for a week, expect to be a new person. You spent 5 years getting fat. Why do you think you're going to lose it all in one? So you will get results if you stick to this, but you have to stick to it and not expect results tomorrow. All or nothing thinking, oh, fuck, this is the worst. This is like when one slip up just makes you fucking go completely off the rails. Like, oh, I accidentally ate an extra portion of nuts with my meal. Today's all fucked up, so I'm just going to have cheat meals the rest of the day, and that day turns into a week, and you see this super, super common after prep. I'll start Monday syndrome. Just the people waiting for the perfect fucking time to make things happen. Oh, well, I have a cruise in 2 months, so I'll start working out after that. You could be down 20 pounds in 2 months. Why wait? And this cycle of inaction, it never stops. How many people do you know that say they're going to fucking get fit every New Year's as their resolution? It never fucking happens. And relying on external validation. Eventually, when you make enough progress, other people are going to start to notice. But in the beginning, people might actually look down on you. All of a sudden your family members are mad that you're trying to eat healthy and work out. It will make other people mad, I promise you, because they're going to see you trying to better yourself, and they can't handle that. They want you to be on their level. So you have to, start relying on your own intrinsic motivation rather than external validation. Come on, next slide. Consequences of a poor mindset, which I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might already know something about. Lack of progress. When you just get in that cycle of starting and stopping and never mentally commit to something, you're never going to get results, but you're going to be doing half the fucking work anyways, because you'll start for a week, put yourself through hell, and then you stop. You already did the hard part. Keep going. Wasted efforts. Actually that's along the same lines, being super on top of things for a couple months and then just getting inconsistent, and you lose everything and you never want to do it again. Emotional distress. I know personally, I used to be a fucking drug addict, man. I'd try to quit stuff all the time and I'd fail at it. And just that disappointment and it fucks up your self-esteem. You don't feel confident. You feel like shit. Health deterioration. Obviously, if you're out of shape and you just let that keep going, it only gets worse. And it's going to fuck with your head. You know your own mortality. I don't think any fat people look at themselves and go, yeah, I'm healthy and I'm going to live a long life. That fucks with your head. And financial waste. How much money do people waste starting and stopping gym memberships? Most of those have a startup fee. So just fucking get one and stick to it, man. You don't need to spend all your money on bullshit supplements and, the latest fad. It doesn't work. Good food is actually relatively cheap. chicken breast is dirt cheap. But when you keep starting and stopping, restocking your fridge and then throwing everything away because you're done dieting, you're blowing through money, man. Especially if you're enhanced. If you're fucking like spending all this money on a cycle and getting no fucking results from it, dude, like you're just flushing money down the toilet. So please listen to me. But the core principle of building a tough mindset for me is that resilience and confidence are forged by doing, not by thinking about what you're going to do, by actually doing those little action items every single day. And developing a strong mindset, you need to struggle for it. And how does my method build a good mindset? Every time you push past failure in a rep, like that is a struggle. You are hardening your mind and your body, and it's going to be that much easier to do it next time. Every time you say no to eating out or whatever fucking bullshit 300 carbs, 0 gram of protein dessert your fucking mom cooked up, every time you say no to that, it's going to be easier to say no next time. You're building confidence to be able to speak up for yourself. And also, when you start prioritizing recovery and getting to bed on time, all this shit, you're going to have more self-respect. Because if you're needing to go to bed at 10 every night, you're not going to be going out to the bars. And I know you motherfuckers are waking up hungover every morning, hating your fucking life. It doesn't feel good. It feels good in the moment, but the next day you feel like shit and you hate yourself. Sorry, trying to move my camera again so you can read. The transformation. So this is what's going to happen is you'll move from having extrinsic motivation, which is relying on like validation from other people and like needing to see physical results, to intrinsic motivation, doing it because you like the process. You're doing it because you want to and it aligns with your values, which feels fucking amazing, and it makes everything so much easier to stick to. You know, you're not eating healthy because you want people to think you eat healthy. You're eating healthy because you want to better yourself. And just the end result, you end up with actual discipline. Discipline doesn't come from other people. It comes from yourself. Trust me, I was in the fucking military. I didn't get discipline from getting yelled at by a drill sergeant. Like, that was just fucking scary to me as a 17-year-old, you know? I listened, and I did what they said, and, you know, I got good at doing push-ups, but I didn't get discipline. Discipline came when I started making conscious choices that no one was forcing me to do. And knowing you can do that just gives you all the fucking confidence in the world. How does this all come together? Well, it all compounds on itself. The nutrition is going to, strengthen your mindset because you're going to feel mentally clearer. Like, if you've ever started eating clean after eating junk food for forever, all your brain fog goes away. It's insane. And also the nutrition is going to fuel your body for the training. Then you do the training. The training creates a stimulus for growth. Your muscles are going to use that food to grow. That training stimulus is also going to give your fucking performance-enhancing drugs something to actually do. And guess what? That clean food, those PEDs are going to direct all that shit to build muscle. That's what they do. They change your metabolism is essentially what steroids do. And those visible results you start to see, yeah, they're going to make you commit to the process. You're like, oh shit, I like this. This is fucking awesome. Why would I stop doing it? And then all this hard shit and seeing rewards from doing the hard shit is just going to strengthen your mindset. You're going to get more and more disciplined till the shit is second nature. So just to recap the method for you guys, I mean, feel free to go back and watch whenever you want. It's on YouTube. But 2 nutrition phases, 1 for fat loss, 1 for muscle building, 4 training days a week, intense workouts, utilizing heavy compounds, machine accessory work, and isolation movements, 5 to 6 whole food meals a day. Whole food, no protein Pop-Tarts. And, sorry guys, high protein. Where else was I going with that? It doesn't say it on here, but recovery. Fix your sleep schedule. And I also don't know why it doesn't recap it on here. But smart use of performance-enhancing drugs, using them to augment your already locked-in training and diet rather than use them as a Band-Aid. Do all this, and I guarantee you, 180 days or less, you can start looking like a bodybuilder. People are going to start fucking asking you. So yeah, I mean, if you like what I have to say, I got an offer for you guys. A one-on-one coaching opportunity with me. I made the program. I tested it on myself. I've tested it on clients. Obviously, no one knows how to implement it better than me. What's included? Custom training plans using these principles broken down into mesocycles to achieve whatever goal we're trying to get, whether that be fat loss, muscle gain, maintenance, whatever. A personalized diet plan based on your preferences and needs. So I gave you guys a good place to start. Obviously, a diet plan isn't a one and done thing. It's something that needs to be adjusted every week. And so I do all the heavy lifting. I calculate how much you need to eat, what you need to eat, your macros. You don't need to track anything. I just give you amounts of food to eat, you weigh it out, and you eat it. Unlimited daily communication. This is my full-time job. I am available to you guys pretty much 24/7 unless I am sleeping, training, or competing. Everything's centralized on the Trainerize app. I pay for it. You guys use it for free. And that's where your workouts, meal plan, all that will be, all of our messaging, supplement and PED guidance. I will make your cycles for you and manage side effects as they come up. I know how to read your blood work. I've been doing this shit for years. I want to help you guys avoid the same mistakes that I made. A knowledge library. I'm constantly coming out with extra resources that you guys will have access to. You know, things like grocery lists, food swaps that you can do when you're in a pinch. I'm coming out with more every week. And the most important part, real accountability from someone who will call you on your shit. I mean, I haven't pulled punches once this video. I'm here to keep you on plan, give you a reason to keep going, and work through any struggles that come up in your physique journey. That's what I'm here for. I want to keep you guys healthy, looking jacked, and feeling confident. And, you know, I fucking guarantee that if you do what I tell you to do, you will look good. However, if you are the 1% of people with just some weird metabolism or something, if you stay up to date on your weekly check-ins, send your training footage when requested, and accurately track your meals, and you don't see the results I'm promising you, I will work with you for free until we do. Well, if you made it to the end of the video, I guarantee it's because you want to start looking like a fucking bodybuilder. So if you're ready to stop fucking looking the same every year. Thanks for watching, guys. I know it was a long one. Thanks for sitting through it. If you liked it, make sure to hit subscribe. And if you really like what I have to say, go click the link in the description to apply for one-on-one coaching with me. Hope to see you soon.